Hey guys, this is Alex. This is the second video that I'm gonna be doing for Avatar: The Last Airbender. As you can see, I'm in my robe. I'm at my house, just kind of chilling. And I just thought, hey, I have some free time right now. I might as well do the video for you guys. So, as in the previous video, like I stated, we are going to deal with Zuko today. We're going to deal with his lineage. We are also going to deal with the journey that Zuko had to go through in order to become what he was at the end of the show. And finally, we're going to talk about what are your visions of Zuko? What are your opinions of him? What was your shall we say? We'll say what was your plan for Zuko? What did you think the show should have done? I'll give you my opinion, and then I definitely want to hear about your comments in the box. See like what you thought about Zuko. Maybe what they could or could not have done. So, like I said, we'll start with the lineage first. We will actually start on his father's side. Zuko is the oldest son of Fire Lord Ozai. He is the grandson of Fire Lord Zulon and the great grandson of Fire Lord Sozin. As you can see, Fire Lord Sozin, as the show does tell us, it was the person that started the 100 Years' War back during the time of Avatar Roku. All the Fire Lords since Sozin have been committed to the fact that it is imperative to keep the war going and to make sure that the Fire Nation is the dominant power in the world. Sozin essentially killed Avatar Roku when he left him on the island, showing the betrayal between two close friends for a lust of power. Zulon continued his father's work, expanding the war into the Earth Kingdom, and then Ozai followed in his father's footsteps and extended the war all the way into the gates and eventually into the heart of Ba Sing Se when the Zula took over the Earth Kingdom's capital. So that is Zuko's side of his father. It's a very lust for power, ambitious side of his family. They have almost no moral code. His father definitely does not. And you can see that is one half of Zuko. However, like we find out when Uncle Iroh is in prison, he gives Zuko the other side of his father, the other side of his line, his mother's line. Zuko is the oldest son of Ursa, who was his mother. We don't know about her parents. The show doesn't speak of them. However, we do know that Zuko is the great-grandson of Avatar Roku. So now you can see the confliction of when, during the second season, the episode The Metamorphosis, when it's talking about Zuko's two inner beings are conflicting with each other. On one side, he has Avatar Roku, and on the other side, he has Fire Lord Sozin. And you can understand the confliction that's inside of him, because at its heart, that's what his family is. It's a confliction. It's a continuous battle for superiority. And it's a very interesting way that Mike DiMartino and Joaquin Dos Santos and the other creative Avatar, they were able to seamlessly transition Zuko between good and bad, doing his moral code, him trying to find his own way, but then also trying to gain the approval of his father. It was a very well done, a very insightful part of a character. In a kid's show, which is supposed to be, lighthearted, they were able to make a character who went through many of the things that a normal teenager would: self-identity crisis, wanting for approval, rebellion, different things like that. So that's Zuko. That's his line. So you can understand the confliction of what he was trying to do and how he was trying to gain the approval of his father to win back his honor. So secondly, now we're going to talk about the journey that Zuko had to go through. I will start during the first season, into the second season, into the third season. If you haven't seen the third season, I won't give too much away. Just in case you haven't seen it, I would recommend you go see it. Yeah, you can download it off iTunes. I'm sure you can download it from like Nick.com. I'm sure they have it there, or you can just go buy it from the store. I know Best Buy has it for I think like $30 or $40. Amazon will be even cheaper, so I go check it out. So, Zuko, first season. We actually first see Zuko in the very first episode when Aang first comes out of the iceberg. We see him as the black rain falls down from the sky. I'm sorry, it's not black rain, the black snow. Sokka first sees it because he remembers that's the day that his father left. Zuko comes out. He sees Aang. He doesn't really know what's going on. But Zuko tells Aang that if you come onto the ship, I'll leave this entire village unharmed. So Aang goes with them, but eventually escapes. He goes into the Avatar state, which is very interesting. You know, at the very beginning, bam, we see Avatar state from Aang, and Zuko, tries to fight it off, but he doesn't know what's going on. I won't go through every episode, but as the season progresses, Zuko becomes even more caught up in his want to get Aang back, and so that he can take him back to his father. We see that in the episode of the pirates, like I stated earlier, I was talking to my friend about, that we see that he goes to lengths to obtain Aang with some questionable people who don't necessarily are trustworthy, and people who aren't necessarily the best people in the world to have an alliance with. They find Aang, but again they lose him, and makes Zuko even more angry. Then, as the season progresses on, the one that many people remember is the Solstice. The Solstice episode where Zuko is trying to find Aang. Aang is trying to get to Avatar Roku, and that is the one where Admiral Zhao. Admiral Zhao is actually a main character in the first season. However, that is the one where Admiral Zhao first becomes like a hated character. Like everyone always kind of didn't like Zhao, but the problem is that at that moment when he captures Zuko and has Aang, everyone kind of sees like, oh wow, Zhao is going to be this important character in the first season. So, Zuko pursues Aang to Crescent Island, where Aang goes to meet Roku. He tries to give Zhao the slip, but however that doesn't work. And he eventually does get away after Avatar Roku destroys the island. But that doesn't stop him from chasing Aang. He chases Aang all the way to the North Pole. In the North Pole, Part 1 and Part 2, he actually does abduct Aang. He does fulfill part of his destiny. However, he goes the wrong way, gets caught in a blizzard, and eventually Aang is taken back by his friends. And we see Zuko at the very end of the episode with his Uncle Iroh on a raft, traveling away from the Northern Water Tribe, beat up, exhausted, and he just seems as though this is the end. Like this, you think that's the end, but then obviously it's not. In the second season, it's more of a identity crisis kind of season for Zuko. Zuko really doesn't know what he wants to do. He's still tortured by the fact that he can't go home, but at the same time, he's trying to find his own way. Like in the episode Zuko Alone was where Zuko and his uncle part ways, that he's trying to find his own way. He's trying to figure out what he wants from life. And then at the same time, he goes on the pretenses that he needs to find the Avatar by himself. But in that episode, as we can see, when he meets the young boy, he meets the family whose son is in the army, that, he feels a part of himself that he hasn't felt before. He felt a part of himself that to mentor, to be a brother, to be like that older role model. And we can see that. We see that he's slowly changing, slowly coming back to himself. Later on, we can see that it becomes the Zuko versus Zuko. So the true identity clash in the episode of the Metamorphosis, where Zuko allows Aang to get out of Long Fang's hideout under Lake Laogai. And we can see that when he comes back to the apartment, he's so conflicted with himself because what he did was so against his own nature that it eventually made him sick. And it showed that his two inner beings, as shown with the dragon, the blue dragon and the orange dragon or the red dragon, which is actually foreshadowing for the third season. I won't tell you what, but it's foreshadowing. And it shows them going at each other, trying to influence Zuko one way or another. And as you can see through the hallucinations that he had, that he was really battling with himself. He was really trying to figure out who am I and what am I supposed to do. And eventually we see that he does, for a while, lose his interest in the Avatar. He actually does become a whole new Zuko. However, when Azula comes back and faces him with the choice to say, either you become a traitor or you will do what you're supposed to do, which she was manipulating him in the first place, because Azula always had a plan, but Zuko was always a step behind until the very last part of the show. And eventually he turns on Aang. Oh, well, he doesn't turn on Aang. He turns on his uncle, technically. And he fights Aang, and he allows him to get captured. He disappoints Uncle Iroh, and he does gain his father's respect and gain his father's love back. However, he loses himself in the process, which transitions us into season number 3, where Zuko is the crown prince once again. He is once again the sole heir to the throne, but yet he's no longer happy. He doesn't have that inner drive that he used to. He sees that what his father's doing is wrong. And throughout he's haunted by the fact that for the last 6 or 7 months, which the first 2 seasons dictated, that he helped his father in the process to keep the world from essentially its only chance of peace. So we can see that eventually he does turn on his father. He does go to Aang, help him learn firebending, which helps him become a fully realized Avatar. He also helps Sokka when he goes to the Boiling Rock, the episode The Boiling Rock Part 1 and Part 2, which he helps him find his father. He bonds with Sokka and Suki. And it just shows that even a character so conflicted, even a character so complex and so angry and frustrated, can essentially become the person that saves the day. And that is what I believe that the creators of Avatar wanted to show, that even someone conflicted and even someone so multi-layered and confused can become the one that essentially saves the world, shall we say. So that's the one that we want. That's the journey that Zuko went through. It's more detailed, obviously, but obviously I don't have the time to go into everything about Zuko. If you have questions or anything, leave them down in the comment box. I will put my Twitter account in the up-hand corner right over there. So if you need to ask me any questions, you have any type of concerns, just let me know in the comment or on my Twitter that I'll put there. I'll put an annotation in the top corner. So now the third part. This is kind of like a Q&A between me and you. I'm going to tell you what I envision that they could have done for Zuko, and then I want you guys to tell me what you would have wanted. My vision for Zuko in the very beginning was I never thought that they were going to make Zuko good. I personally thought that Zuko was going to be that antagonist the entire show. That the battle at the very end, which I foresaw from the beginning, would have been between Ozai and Zuko. And it would have been like father and son working together to fight Aang, and Aang would defeat both of them. But then, when they threw in the twist that, Zuko at his heart was actually good, I could understand why they would do that. I understood why it had to be this way, and I also understood why they made it as it was. So, I was very, very pleased with how they did Zuko. Zuko is actually, My third favorite character, obviously, it's Aang. But then actually my second favorite character actually isn't Katara, neither is Sokka. It's actually Toph. Toph's my second favorite character. But that's why I liked Zuko. You can relate to Zuko. You can sometimes relate to the different things he had to go through. So that's why I liked him. That's what I foresaw from the beginning. But how they actually did do it, I was very pleased. I was very happy how it turned out with how he became Fire Lord and everything. So I was very pleased. So, alright guys, coming to towards the end of the video. I will do another one of these for Katara and I'm sorry, not Katara. I'll do another one of these for Azula and Ozai will be the next video. So leave me a comment or send me a message on Twitter, and I look forward to seeing you guys again really soon. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.